Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today, Tuesday morning, July 13th, 2021. The man they call Meathead and the lovely and just live and in your face in the ring, Linda Kay. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning, Meathead. I've never had that introduction or description or adjective, if you will, live and in your face. I like it.
That's right. Hey, again, I know we tried to do it before with the L's. I got bored with it, so I wanted to come back. I mean, I have the Skype window up here. We record via Skype, and I see your face. I'm like, live, and she's right in my face. There it is, Linda Kay.
Well, L, live, lively, Linda, live and in your face.
There you
Linda,
go.
I will take
Hey,
it
we
there.
got a lot of stuff to put in your ear, but first off, I need to hear who is our sponsor.
Our sponsor, Collar and Elbow, where you can find the latest and greatest in wrestling street fashions. Make sure to go to collarandelbowbrand.com. Check out the summer sale and save yourself some cash. Use promo code LindaK. That's LINDAKAY. Save 10% off your order.
Awesome. Well, we start off on a bit of a sad note. Matthew and I, you had mentioned this. I think it was Matthew and I that mentioned it, but a couple weeks ago we talked about the failing health of Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. Sadly, yesterday, Mr. Wonderful has passed away, and I've never met the man personally. I don't have any positives or negatives from interacting with him, but I can tell you what Paul Orndorff meant to me as far as watching wrestling. With the advent of WrestleMania, he was in the main event with Hulk Hogan, and he wrestled against Piper, and I believe it was Orton, if I remember correctly. I mean, Billy Martin was there, Liberace was there, Muhammad Ali was there. It was this great, huge spectacular. So I knew right off the bat who Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff was, and then the big heel turning on Hogan. Orndorff actually used to run the WCW power plant way back in the day. So, I mean, you talk about NXT and you talk about these gyms where they're kind of cranking out wrestlers. The power plant way back in the day in WCW, Paul Orndorff used to be part of that as well, along with the Sarge. So, and no, not Sergeant Slaughter, but the Sarge. So, sad to hear the passing of Paul Orndorff. Linda, do you have anything? I mean, that you can remember? I know that you and I have a little bit of a gap between us as far as our wrestling history and, what era we kind of grew up in. So any thoughts on Mr. Wonderful?
Yeah, I mean, Paul Orndorff, lasting memory for a lot of us with our childhoods. And as you mentioned, in WrestleMania 1, in that match with Hulk Hogan. And, you and Matthew had referenced this a couple weeks ago when Paul Orndorff's son had his illness and the worst, it was going taking the direction, that it was taking. And, sadly, he had to make that announcement again yesterday. So, we saw a lot of tweets, a lot of posts, a lot of tributes to Mr. Wonderful, including our friend Dave Hero, who had Paul Orndorff at the Super Friends Fan Fest. I believe it was 5 years ago.
Sometimes that feels like about 5 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw other posts from some of our friends and colleagues, just pictures with him, and yeah, very sad to hear. And we did see it before Raw starting last night. That little glimpse of a little tribute to Mr. Wonderful. So.
There's a good story out there from Mick Foley as well, talking about his interactions. And I remember reading this. It kind of jogged my memory, reading Have a Nice Day from Mick Foley, the New York Times #1 bestseller book that he wrote about his series of matches. I believe it was in '93 in WCW with Cactus Jack. And he says that, in a nutshell, Paul Orndorff credits Mick Foley for getting that contract in WCW because of his series of matches with Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, and helping get him over. So something worth digging into if you haven't ever read the book, or go on to Mick Foley's Facebook page. That story is there for you as well. So again, we are thinking about Paul Orndorff today. Let's move on and let's talk about the WWE Draft. We believe it's coming. We believe it's coming. Well, when we believed it was coming in August, or maybe at the end of August, now believe that it's getting pushed back further. There is a possibility this thing's getting pushed out to October. I wonder if they're going to make this, Linda Kay. I wonder if they're going to make this one of those season premiere type episodes.
Oh, quite possibly. I mean, come fall, there's always with TV shows, huge premieres, huge build-ups.
On the season premiere of WWE Raw.
Would that be September, though? Isn't it typically September when it's a...
Normally, premieres happen in September. You're absolutely right. I mean, sometimes it gets stretched out, into October, but no, I honestly think that September is when you get your season premieres. Right after Labor Day, that's the TV season.
Yeah, I know our assumption, at least on this program, we've kind of alluded to it possibly taking place. Stacey just said in August, or perhaps even, I thought maybe even before they hit the road, just so we can get the rosters established before going, in front of fans again. But or perhaps SummerSlam shakeup, or let's throw the whole Drew McIntyre scenario in the mix too. We thought maybe he might be over to SmackDown,
right?
If he was to win Money in the Bank, and then
when he wins Money in the Bank, right?
Oh yeah, yes. But also Daniel Bryan possibly now being on Raw. So I mean, yeah, if this does go to August, as far as the superstar shakeup,
time to fight shake things up again.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, I've got a question for you. First off, quick news, and then we'll get to the question. WWE Network and Peacock pushed back the premiere of Kevin Nash on the Broken Skull Sessions. Instead of this last Sunday, is now going to air directly after the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Steve Austin played 30-second shot clock with Kevin Nash and said, name as many NWO members as you can. Linda, do you want to take a try with me to see how many we can name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it. Like right now.
Yeah, right now.
Ooh.
Here.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
I just started the clock.
Okay. Am I going first?
You're going first.
Kevin
Nash. Very, very good. How about, here's, pause. Here's what we'll do.
Okay.
I want you to name the ones that are like out in the front. I'm going to name the obscure ones. Are you ready?
Okay. Let's
unpause.
Okay.
I do this with my kids all the time. So unpause, game back on. Horace Hogan.
Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Okay. Glacier. Just kidding. How about Buff Bagwell? Not obscure, but not top.
Okay. Scott Hall.
Disco Inferno.
Macho Man.
Oh, yeah. How about the Giant Brother? Yeah, we're going to go up to the top.
Rey Mysterio.
He was in the NWO?
Was it in the red?
No, he was a filthy animal, maybe.
Okay, fine. X-Pac. 6.
Okay.
6.
Yep, 6. Kurt Hennig.
Lex Luger.
Okay. Elizabeth.
How
about you name one from Matthew Thomas? Who's Matthew been trying to get at shenanigans?
Virgil.
There you go. And Ted DiBiase.
Oh, is that your Jeff
Jarrett? Ted DiBiase is my pick.
Yes. Jeff Jarrett. Sorry, I'm just trying to visualize that time.
Jeff Jarrett was a member of the NWO.
There you go. Jeff Jarrett.
Okay. Then I'll say Bret Hart.
Every answer you give, I'm like, is there a timer on this right now? Why am I I'll go ahead, chime in, Meathead. I think this
how about Sting?
Oh, darn it. Sting, yes, that would have been an easy one.
How about K-Dog? Conan. Yo, I'm Bowdy and Rowdy.
Yeah.
How about Scott Norton?
I'm getting Scott Steiner.
How about Scott Steiner? There you go.
Okay, can I end at Scott Steiner, because I feel like I'm ending on a high note, and again, this episode will drag.
We'll call it there, because I got more, not because I watched the video that Nash and Stone Cold did, but I mean, there's a couple others. I'm going to try to get Matthew on this. Matthew, if you're listening to this morning's broadcast, get off the internet. I want to be able to get you fresh and see if we can do something. We're
legit, like, not looking out. Bischoff.
There you go. Hey, I love it.
Okay, now we'll end at that. At least for me. But I do I do want to hear you and Matthew do this. Once again, Matthew Damas, Nostradamus, Matthew, or Nelson Mandela, excuse me.
Matthew Thomas is Matthew Thomas to watch in 2021.
Yes. Nelson Mandela, Matt Damien. Just do this.
Stay off the internet, Matthew. I want you to come in fresh.
Yes, there you go. Okay.
All right. Let's talk AEW news real quick. JR on his podcast had mentioned what he said to Malakai Black following his AEW debut, and I wanted to kind of share this here. This is a quote from good old JR. Well, I'll tell you the honest to God truth. I didn't even know that he was there. We were in a unique building that was kind of old school, had different levels and different little cubby holes. It was funny because Mark, Big Show, and I shared a room for the announcers. I didn't see this guy all day long, so I was shocked how it came off. As many of you fans know that listen to the podcast, which drops every Thursday, nice little plug there, JR. I didn't want to know. I wanted to react, better if I didn't know what was going on. Here's what he said. He said, look, we are counting on you. We're counting on you to play in a big way, not just come in and be one of the boys, but to come in and be one of the stars. I think he hadn't heard that in a while, and I think that meant a lot to him. I wasn't trying to blow smoke. Wasn't trying to say you're a highly regarded, or I was just trying to say you are a highly regarded piece of talent that we value, and we're happy that you're here. So now we're looking for great things. You set the bar high with that debut. Now let's see what you can do. Where can this take you? Here's the way I read this. Maybe, we've heard talk from like Ric Flair, how he was kind of beaten down a little bit and then came, Undertaker said he was emotionally a little beat down, and then came back in and he had people finally believe in him again. Mm-hmm. Malakai or Alistair coming back in, Tommy End coming into AEW, getting that boost of confidence. I see big, big things for him.
Absolutely. I mean, the pop from the crowd itself, and I totally popped seeing him come in as well. And
it was huge.
Yeah, I mean, even you and Matthew, group text going on, just are shock and awe. But yeah, that was tremendous to see. And again, just the surprise itself of the glitch in the complete clause or whatnot, like him being able to make that kind of splash, no pun intended, Sting, into AEW. Tremendous. Definitely one of the big shocks of the year, for sure.
Ready to talk Raw from last night?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's
Money in the Bank week, baby.
Yeah. Let's get right into it. Kind of like they did on Raw last night. The show opened with the WWE champion Bobby Lashley taking on Xavier Woods in a non-title match. Linda Kay. No shenanigans, no goofiness. Xavier Woods beat the champ. Xavier Woods has a pinfall victory over the WWE champion. Lashley is pissed.
Yeah. We had last few weeks of Kofi and Xavier wanting more aggressive and more angry Bobby Lashley, and they've been stirring things up. And obviously, Bobby Lashley, the almighty champion, Bobby Lashley, losing to Xavier Woods. Done did it, I must say.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on Alexa Bliss's Playground featuring guests Eva Marie and Doudrop? That's just fun to say. Doudrop.
I guess I'm still a little confused if Alexa is a babyface, a heel. I mean, I feel she's more face just because she's been tag teaming with Nikki Ash. Excuse me, I did not do that on purpose. Nikki Ash, with Asuka and with Naomi, but then again, we had that fatal 4-way, every woman for herself. Right. I guess I like that there's still a show and interview segment on Raw since, well, we still have Ms. TV. I was going to say Mrs. Intro, we still have that, okay. But it just gave us another side of Eva Marie. We haven't gotten too much of it. I mean, we know that she comes to the ring, hasn't had much in-ring action, but is very commanding, and
she's an on-screen commanding presence. Yeah. I don't know if she's commanding anything else, but when she's on the screen, we have to watch her because that's where the TVs and the focus is put on, is on Eva Marie.
Yeah, we did get to hear her speak a little more last night, though, and it gave us a nice glimpse at Doudrop as well. Her getting to speak a little bit more and a little interaction. It seemed as if Alexa and Doudrop were connecting.
Right. I think Alexa was reaching Dewdrop. I mean, it was somebody, being nice to her, honestly, from the interaction we get with, Eva Marie.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I want to. I love Alexa Bliss, and she's also on Team Long Time. I want to see her pushed further, one way or the other. Meaning, more face, more heel.
Right.
Just not too long ago, she was doing her hypnism, and now she's. Just,
I thought she was going to hypnotize Eva Marie and Dewdrop last night.
Honestly. Yeah, so I thought so as well. But, well, I mean, being in Money in the Bank, maybe we might get this.
Ooh, will there be some hypnotism in Money in the Bank?
That would make the most sense, right?
That would be entertaining to me. Oh. Where you stare at somebody and they're on the ladder and they're halfway up there and you stop and then they just jump off the ladder.
Or just fall right back.
Right. I don't want to book the match for you. You guys do that.
Yeah.
I actually am somewhat entertained by Jinder Mahal, Veer, and Shanky. And they took over Drew McIntyre's sword. Now, I told you guys, and as a man, I can speak about this. Your sword sometimes is your essence. It's, how you gauge yourself as a man. If you don't have a sword, then what kind of man are you? Phallic pun intended, of course. So we see Drew pull up. Not Drew. We see Jinder pull up in that really nice looking custom bike, and the boys meet him. They got the sword, and they, we're going to try to play a prank on him. It says we shined up your sword real nice, and look, it broke. Drew says that was a replica. It was not the real sword, and that's why it broke. And I've got mine. So, but you know what? This bike doesn't look like a replica, and proceeded to tear the shit out of the bike. So, your thoughts on the whole segment?
Well, I was sad to see that lovely bike being torn apart. I mean, I'm assuming
I'm hoping that was a replica too.
Yes, it has to have been, and I don't know if tearing apart a bike is that easy. But being from Milwaukee, the land of Harley Davidson,
right?
It's kind of a little punch in the gut. I don't want to see that, but
like getting hit in the beanbag with a butter knife.
Yes, I do like this new feud. I don't say new because obviously the history between Drew and Jinder, but I like this new one. And you mentioned Veer and Shanky. And
I like Veer and Shanky.
Side. And this new Drew McIntyre, this funny haha one.
Right.
Storyteller.
Yeah, the funny haha Drew.
I guess if you
later on in the night, he calls himself Tricky Icky.
I thought it was. I thought I heard Sticky Icky, but Tricky.
Well, Icky. I mean, we're all used to the Sticky Icky, but he called himself Tricky Icky, referring to Icarus.
Yes.
Tricky Icky.
Well, I will say I also like this new Jinder. I hope he still has another bike to come out on because I like that cool, more laid back side of Jinder.
It's working for Jinder. I hope it was a fake bike. I really do, or he gets a new one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously his bike getting destroyed is going to rile him up a bit more again and give him that heat, give him that the anger. Maybe we'll get the Jinder we had from before. But I was liking
the Mano de Maharaja.
Yes, so I hope they continue with the way they're going with Jinder, and I hope he gets another bike. And with Drew McIntyre, I'm happy he does have his sword back. But I still, and I get it, he's our biggest babyface there. But I want to see the Scottish psychopath return one day versus the Scottish Warrior.
Yeah, I don't like the Scottish comedian.
Yeah, he can still have his sword and be a Scottish psychopath.
Yep. I mean, because, Jinder technically broke his sword in half. I mean, that's even worse than having your sword stolen. Matt Riddle literally asked Nikki the question that had to be asked. If you're a superhero, how come you don't just fly up to the top and take the briefcase?
Well, because as Nikki said, she is almost a superhero.
Almost a superhero. Nikki Ash. They didn't say Cross this week. There's been some confusion by the ring announcing. Nikki Ash, almost a superhero. Okay, that's great. You're hammering home the almost a superhero part. But stop saying Nikki Cross now. She says, I got to fly away from my match. Riddle asks, wait, didn't you just say you can fly? He's honestly, he's asking the questions we all need to hear the answers to.
Yes, it kind of puts the other person in a jam.
A question about the four-way match. It was I think it was Nikki versus Asuka versus Naomi versus Alexa Bliss. The spot where Eva and Doudrop come down, stare at Alexa. I swear that Alexa was going to hypnotize Doudrop, possibly hypnotize Eva, but I thought it was Doudrop. But then, Eva, and I'm not a woman, so I don't understand this, but I just entertain when they do it. What's with the taking off the shoe and screaming?
I mean, it was a pointy heel, so she was using it as a weapon. Stay back, stay back. Also, in another sense, usually when you take off your shoes, your heels, that means from what I understand, I don't fight, but it means you're about to throw down, taking your heels off. We've seen Charlotte do that a lot recently, but instead it was her weapon mechanism. Stay back, stay back.
What does that mean? You're going to run away too, or are you going to run at them? Now, I thought when women throw down, again, not a woman, but I thought when women throw down, they pull off the earrings and they pull off the Lee press-ons.
And the shoes too. It's hard to fight if you're going to twist your ankle. I don't fight though, Meathead. This is just what I'm assuming.
Okay, all right. Because I thought that you had to pull your Lee press-ons off so you didn't break your nails.
That too, if they're press-on. But if you have them gelled in there, you're not going to be able to pull that off like that. And if you do, you're just hurting yourself.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on from that. We've complained, more so I've complained, that they fired so many people that they have to stretch these segments out. Here's an example of one of them. Raw Tag Team Champions are going to go in singles matches against their number one contenders, the Viking Raiders. So AJ Styles is going to take on Ivar, and then Omos is going to take on Eric. Ivar with the victory on AJ Styles, and then Omos blowing through Eric. Now, good news for the Raw Tag Team Champions. Who has those? Matthew, or do you have Styles and Omos?
Matthew.
Their match has been pulled from next week Monday's live show on Raw and pushed up to Money in the Bank this Sunday.
Yeah. There you go, Matthew.
So a little luck there for Matthew Thomas. They pulled, obviously, the women's match from the pay-per-view and put it on Friday Night SmackDown. Now they've pushed one match to the pay-per-view. Makes sense. I'm absolutely okay with it. It makes sense. Mm-hmm. But, it's Omos went right through Eric. It wasn't, I don't even think it was close. So Omos still looking like in his AJ Styles personal Colossus. The match between Humberto Carrillo and Sheamus. Now, there was a backstage attack with Humberto Carrillo again. Sheamus, really, there was no match. Sheamus wins. Here's what I was excited about. Damian Priest coming out and approaching Sheamus. Again, I'm all Damian Priest. I love Damian Priest, and I think there's something there for him. Glad to see him show up. I hope there's a pay-per-view match in the future for him.
Yeah, I'm liking that matchup as well. A lot of us wondering what was next for Damian Priest after WrestleMania, after his partnership with Bad Bunny. This, I see, as you just said, being a marquee pay-per-view match in the future. I just gotta say, poor Humberto Carrillo, though. I was just thinking that finally, they were saying 6 weeks ago.
Let's show you something that happened 6 weeks ago. Wow.
And I thought I was hoping, just because it was, obviously Sheamus was injured, but so it would have been cool to have seen some type of competitive match for the United States Championship. And I thought with it being stretched out, the speed, they could have just scratched what happened and started fresh with something new with Sheamus and perhaps just right away with Damian Priest. But they brought Humberto Carrillo back to do this. And I hope that, it'd be really sad if this was his, match back on Raw, and if he doesn't get another one. And but because obviously the story's
he's talented. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely. It's just there's nothing there for me.
Yeah, and now we already got the story being told between Damian Priest and Sheamus, which it's already gotten our attention and something we're looking forward to. And um, I do hope that's something that will continue. That'd be, yeah, and maybe Damian Priest possibly getting that championship from Sheamus. Sheamus has had that for a while.
I
Or
think
did
that
he
would
get it
be
from
great.
Riddle? Right?
Yeah.
Or no, from Bobby. Wait.
No,
No, Riddle got
Sheamus.
it from Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sheamus is still a champ, but I mean, he hasn't really done anything with it. So, I mean, let's get somebody out there that defends it.
Can I just bring up one random thing about Sheamus? Because I don't know why it just came up in my head, but did they ever figure out who? Sorry, I'm going to last year. Who hit um,
Jeff Hardy?
Elias with the car?
Oh, who hit
Remember?
Elias?
It was supposed to be, he was allegedly Jeff Hardy, but they said it was somebody
No.
with red hair.
But you know what? It was somebody in a black Hummer from WCW in 1998. So, I mean,
that's what it was. Okay,
it's the same thing. They never explained.
I don't know why I thought of that. It was just a random thought in my head. Yep. I digress.
So who knows? Linda, you're going to do some more talking here. I want to talk about the match of tonight, Ricochet and John Morrison. I'll mention the spot that I lost my all over is that Riddle went out, tipped Miz upside down, laid him on his back, and then mocked him like he was a turtle on the top of his shell.
Yes. Oh, Riddle. He's just owning Monday Night Raw, huh?
He is. And did he even wrestle last night? I don't think he did.
No.
Doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to. Randy Orton doesn't have to be there either. RK Bro still getting over everything.
Right. How amazing is it that it's Matt Riddle that's putting over RK Bro while Randy's at home?
Yeah. That's showing something there.
It's amazing. But tell me your favorite spot besides the turtle on it, on a shell with Miz. What did you enjoy about Morrison and Ricochet?
With it being a Falls Count Anywhere match, them starting hot outside the ring. I mean, I think it was the first spot where it took them outside the ring where where Morrison had Ricochet through the ropes, and I think he clotheslined him, and there was like a shoulder, almost a neck bump that Ricochet took on the apron. Ouch.
Yeah.
Oh, so that just started it, and then there was when Morrison was trying to pin Ricochet using the wheelchair, and then the bucket fell, and there's like a with the dripsticks, but yeah, they took it all over the place. That was I watched that match second for second. I mean, this is the third tremendous match in a row between Ricochet and Morrison. We've got something there. I want to see this continue, or at least somewhere along the lines, maybe in a couple months again, a bigger build-up. I mean, it's already huge. I mean, this is something
I'll take it at SummerSlam.
Yes. I mean, they're basically they're throwing their bodies out there. I mean, Ricochet numerous flips and that 450 splash out on outside the ring. Oh gosh, there was just so much going on. They went up the ramp, and as you mentioned, I was gonna say stepping in. I shouldn't because he's not on his feet, but Riddle coming down and the turtle on his back. But oh man, I want to see more of Ricochet and Morrison. They are absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. It was amazing. Let's talk about Rhea Ripley going through Natalya. Were you okay with that? I mean, because technically Rhea, while she is the Raw Women's Champion, just I think again blew right through Natalya, and then the beatdown obviously after from Charlotte.
Yeah. I feel that. I mean, I'm surprised that it didn't become a Rhea versus Natalya then versus Tamina match. The way the trend has been recently on Raw. I guess I still feel Rhea should have won it. She is the Raw Women's Champion. I know Natalya is a champion in her own right, but Rhea being the top lady in the brand, I just thought all in all, like I don't think. I mean, if it was a squash match, then I'd be like, oh, that wouldn't be right. But they had a lot of back and forth, and we got a lot of sharpshooter attempts, and Rhea just got the best of her, and then of course Charlotte coming in, and driving in on the knee, just like what has been done to her. And again, Rhea and Charlotte, looking forward to this match. I like this back and forth between them, and it's going to be a great one between the both of them.
Finally, the main event segment is the MVP lounge, or the VIP lounge with MVP. How do you feel? I mean, because as I'm watching this was all pre-taped, by the way. This wasn't live last night. How do you feel that this is the go home to the Thunderdome? Not because WWE should have done it, but because we got AEW give us a send-off from COVID era wrestling. Do you feel that WWE might have maybe should have done that too?
It's a tough one, Meathead, because I said to you off air that I liked how it ended. It told a good story. It explained why we wouldn't need this VIP lounge, the ladies, the extra.
Yeah.
The extra.
I was starting to get into that one girl. I liked her, the shorter one.
Short hair one, yeah.
Yeah, she was a boss lady. I was into that.
Maybe we'll see more of her. Who knows? But but I like how we got the dazed and confused Bobby Lashley at the beginning of Raw, and then we got that again leading up to the very end. But then he just turned that bad boy around by destroying the VIP lounge.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with picking up the love seat.
Yes.
And that it's not like it was hollow. I mean, movie tricks, whatever, but he picked it up. He didn't pick the couch up, but he picked up that love seat and he threw it. Wow.
Yes. Even the glass shattering and him hitting MVP's face, but not hitting him, just telling him, hey.
Have you noticed, is this me just noticing it for the first time? Bobby's right ear's got cauliflower. I've never noticed it.
I don't think it always was. I noticed it a couple of weeks ago.
I wonder if he had an issue in a match, because I had never thought he was blown up like that on his one side.
Yeah. He has it a little in one ear, but no, that is true. I had noticed that a couple of weeks ago as well.
I mean, obviously, in MMA, from getting boxed, over and over on the sides of the head, that is something that can happen. But that's the first time I've seen that, because you don't really see that in wrestlers a lot of times. I mean, the old school wrestlers might have it. Ric Flair has some cauliflowering going on. Mm-hmm. But, a lot of the older wrestlers, you also used to see the cheese grater forehead.
Yeah.
Where basically it was all scar tissue on their forehead. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was the first time I noticed it, and it looked pretty severe. Like I mean, it wasn't just something that I feel like it popped up in the last, week or so. So maybe I didn't notice.
Yeah, I noticed it somewhat recently too. I mean, it could be just from training jiu-jitsu as well, just off,
You might be training, right?
Yeah. He is, because he is ready for Kofi Kingston. He's ready to demolish Kofi Kingston. Yeah. I like this. So to answer your question, I did like how this was Raw's go home show, not just for Money in the Bank, but for the Thunderdome itself. Because number one, he ended up trashing, I don't want to say the sex, it was just the lounge, but hey, he was chucking things up the ramp. It was hitting,
can I tell you one screens. I was disappointed. I didn't realize that the middle section was just cardboard or poster board.
Yeah.
I thought it was LED. Yeah, you got me. When they bumped into him, like, oh, come on, that's a poster board. Oh.
Well.
Way cheaper than LED, I understand.
but why not, meaning WWE go the other direction than what AEW did, leaving the COVID era setup, I guess, if you want to put it that way. It was different, and I felt good about it. Because last week on Raw, Bobby Lashley an MVP loss, and it was just kind of like, wow. It just seems so off and weird and odd. I'm like, if this is almighty champion, like where's that heat? Where's that anger, or just?
Well, we've got it. That's where the heat is.
Sure, it did. That was perfect. I thought it was a great way to end Raw.
Okay, well, Linda, I'm ready. This Friday on SmackDown, the WWE Universe is welcomed back into the building. No more LED screens. They can fill the house now. I don't know because I think they're going to it's Texas. I just don't remember what city is Friday.
Houston, I believe.
Houston, yeah, that sounds about right. Because I know that Fort Worth, I believe, is next Monday. I think Dallas might be next Monday. I think Fort Worth might be the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. So I'm ready for him to be back. I'm ready for some surprises to bring back in front of the audience. And I'm ready for Drew McIntyre to win Money in the Bank.
You know what I'm ready for, Meathead? While we've been kind of tinkering around this topic, I want to see and hear a new intro piece, a new theme song, if they could bring back some hard rock intros like they did back in the day.
Oh yeah.
But just, I'd like to see something new, something fresh, something that will just get the crowd going as they're seeing this, and then the pyro hitting, and I want that magical moment.
Welcome to WWE's Money in the Bank. Yeah. How about move to the music, play that? Oh, that was my time. That and Papa Roach's I Just Want to Be Loved.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready right now.
I'm ready.
Are you ready? Oh. I mean, it's no Applebee's song, but that's right. Okay. Well, Linda, I'm ready to send us off. Tomorrow morning, Matthew Thomas. And we're gonna rapid fire Matthew. Again, Matthew, if you're listening, turn off the Google, turn off Alexa, stop asking Jeeves who the NWO was. That was stop asking Jeeves about who was in the NWO. Let's talk about it tomorrow. So for Linda K, I'm the man they call me today. Thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.